is there any chance I can interest you in a nice, clean 6-for-1? Brilliant Restoration is a heck of a card. Hello, Daily Drafters. Today is Tuesday, March 22nd, and thanks for joining me for today's Daily Draft. As we hop into this draft here, thank you as always to each and every one of you that are subscribed to the channel for choosing to spend a part of your day here with me today. And for those of you that are not subscribed yet, go ahead and help me out by clicking that red subscribe button attached to or underneath this video. It's absolutely free, and you'll then have access to the most consistent high-quality MTG Limited content on YouTube. Not to mention that this is the last week here on the channel that we will be doing a draft each weekday morning, Monday through Friday. Beginning next week, we will be switching to Tuesday and Friday only in preparation for Streets of New Capenna to release in less than a month here. It's really coming up quick. I don't think we had a lot of time with Neon Dynasty. I've really been enjoying this format, but we are moving towards sorry about that. Moving towards Streets of New Capenna, and we're going to take this farewell here. Not much consideration for anything else, to be honest. So we are going to snap up the farewell, and again, as I was mentioning, next week we're going to just Tuesday, Friday, and I think we have about 3 weeks of that until we move on to the format follow-up video, along with the preparation for Streets of New Capenna. Okay, pick 2 here. There's only one white card in the pack, and it's Sunblade Samurai, and I do like that card. There's an Uncharted Haven as well. There's a Flame Discharge, Azusa's Many Journeys. Don't think we want the March. I think I'll just stay white with Sunblade Samurai. This is one of the best cards in the format, and if you can pick it first, it's very easy to build around it. Virus Beetle's another consideration, because it's a card that we don't really care gets wiped up by Farewell. But there's 2 black cards, Leech Gauntlet and that. So we'll take Sunblade Samurai here and stay white. And then there's Michiko's Reign of Truth. I think we're going to go ahead and take that here. Kami of Terrible Secrets. Seismic Wave is a card that's gone up for me. When I can actually read the card correctly. So it's a difficult one to interpret, but it's kind of wrecked me a couple of times, and I do need to move it up in my pick order. But I don't think we want to pair it with something like Farewell and a red-white aggro deck. I mean, maybe we get like red-white removal, depending on what comes back around. But we're going to stick with the Michiko's Reign of Truth here. And maybe we can lean towards like a little bit of a black-white artifact enchantment value deck with the Farewell at the top. I think that seems like a decent little plan. Okay, so now there's a kunai for an artifact. There's an automaton for an artifact, but I don't think the automaton is where we want to go with this exact start here. There's an Imperial Recovery unit, but we don't really have anything good to do with that yet. There's a Moth Rider Patrol and a Wanderer's Intervention. I think the best card in this pack is the Modern Age. And in some decks, it's going to be Automaton, but again, that's not for us. I think the best card in this pack is the Modern Age. And I don't think I'm going to miss any of these white cards here or this kunai. So I think I'm actually just going to take the Modern Age and hedge here. I don't necessarily mind going into like a blue-white kind of deck with this start. This kind of start can still support blue-white, but we'll just go ahead and start here with the Modern Age. Is what I think was the best card in that pack. Now we have Azusa's Many Journeys versus Walking Skyscraper, and basically everything else is almost unplayable. I guess we'll take Azusa's Many Journeys here. Don't know how much modifying we're going to be doing for the Walking Skyscraper. So we'll just hedge our bets with Azusa's Many Journeys, and this is like the 3rd one we've seen this draft. So I think this one's between Azusa and Tamio's Completion. We could be a bit of like a blue-white control deck, maybe. Michiko's Reign of Truth is not very good in a control deck. But I don't know about 2 Azusa's Many Journeys. That card doesn't seem to get better in multiples. Prodigy's Prototype in blue-white? I mean, maybe? But I think I'm just going to stick with Completion here. It goes with the Modern Age. I think Completion plus Modern Age is better than 2 Azusa's Many Journeys, so we'll just take that there. Now here's a bit of a decision for us. We've got Mirror Shell Crab versus Kami of Terrible Secrets, and I think the Kami is going to go very, very well in like a black-white control deck, but the Mirror Shell Crab goes very well in this blue-white control shell that we have going. And I think because we already have 2, I'm going to take the Crab. Now, if the other Kami wheels, I think we have one pick 10 or something coming around. I might just take that one, but I think I'm going to take this first Crab here. And then we see another Crab or a Protocol. I think I'll take the second Crab over the first Protocol here. Ninja's Kunai. I don't think Essence Capture is a particularly playable card in this format because a lot of the things you want to counter are like Sagas, which this does not hit. Light the Way, Mentor. I think I'll just take the Kunai here. There's an argument to taking Roadside Reliquary, and maybe for a control deck that's actually going to be better. We don't have a lot of artifacts yet, but there's a chance we can pick up 1 or 2. I think I'll take the Reliquary. I don't think we're going to miss a singular Kunai. Now there's Network Disruptor, Moonsnare Prototype. I think I'll just take the Disruptor, but I'm not sure how well it's going to go into this deck. It is an artifact. Guess we'll take Centipede here. None of these cards really matter for us at this moment. Here's a Kunai we can take. And Reality Heist I don't think is going to be for us. We have 3 artifacts and 2 are crabs. So we can take this cheap artifact here. I think we have 1 creature. 4 creatures. Okay. The Crab. I'm hardly counting as creatures in this deck. I mean, if we're casting crabs in this deck, we're probably just going to be winning. So we're probably going to be using the channel ability more often than not. So I think we'd like to lean a bit more on the control side with this deck. But we still have 2 packs to kind of feel that out for ourselves. Okay, pack 2 here. We have Iganjo's Seat of the Empire, which is a good control card. I don't know if it's worth taking pick 1 here over something like Banishing Slash or Era of Enlightenment or even Network Terminal. Terminal helps us ramp to some of these cards up here. I think I'm going to land on Era of Enlightenment here as a good 2-drop. Gain some life, helps scry into things that we need to, and then it's a decent little blocker on the backside. Would not mind wheeling Iganjo, Banishing Slash, or Network Terminal, but I don't know how likely any of that is. Okay, now there's Thirst for Knowledge, Disruption Protocol, another Samurai, Terrarium. Probably going to land on Samurai here. I would like to take Reckoner Ray, but I think the black train has sailed, and I don't think we need something like Thirst for Knowledge with this deck necessarily. There's a chance this wheels too, and it depends on where our artifact count is when we get there. But we'll just take another Samurai here. And now there is Banishing Slash with 4 artifacts, 7 enchantments is pretty good, but these 2 crabs hardly count toward this Banishing Slash. There's Fall of Lord Konda, which I think is okay, but I think this is the card. If we're getting to the point where this card is relevant, we have other things that are going to matter more. So I don't think it's something this deck wants. There's a Guardians, which is, I think, going to be probably the pick here to help us get to Farewell, crabs, all this kind of stuff. So I think I'm going to land on Guardians here over Golden Tail Disciple. And now there is Octopus, which I don't think we necessarily want. There's Sky Swimmer Koi and Searchlight Companion. I think it's between the Koi and the Companion here, and I think I'm going to take the Flyer in Koi. Right now we basically just have Farewell. Samurais aren't win conditions necessarily. neither are crabs. So we don't have a lot of ways to push damage through in the late game. I kept saying like, oh, we're control deck trying to get to the late game, but our late game is basically just farewell right now. If we take this flyer, it can help us push through some flying damage at some point. I think we'll take Repel the Vial here. Don't think we need Mobilizer Mech or Terrarium necessarily. I don't think we're trying to splash anything here. This is much more of an aggressive card, so I'll take the removal spell here and Repel the Vial. Sky Turtle as a bounce spell and maybe splash green off of something if we ever need to. No, because we need double green, so I don't think that's really a great plan. There's Protocol, a third crab, and a terminal. I think I'm actually going to take the terminal here. I'd really, really like to pick up a containment construct with this deck so far, but who knows if we'll see one. I think I'd probably play a Disruption Protocol as well, but I think I'm going to take the network terminal here. And now we see Ninja's Kunai number 2, Mirror Shell Crab number 3. I think we could just load up on crabs with this deck and play most of them as counterspells. Yeah, I think that's probably a decent plan. Most of our creatures have the option to channel for a different ability, which works well with Farewell. But I'm going to take a third crab here as like a third counterspell in the 3-drop slot. A second network terminal. How's our curve looking? Not great. Automated Artificer I don't think is going to be the pick, so I guess I'll take Terminal, but I doubt I'm playing 2 here. And then pick 9. Really nothing came back. I don't think there's a red drafter at this table. Okay, so now we did get the Thirst for Knowledge back. There's also Puzzle Maker and Protocol, and I think I'm actually going to take Puzzle Maker out of this pack. It's another artifact. It can get us a little bit of a scry going, and it blocks well enough. I just don't think Thirst for Knowledge, even for this deck, is going to be exactly what we need. I'll take the Terrarium, but I doubt we're playing it here. So I've never really drafted blue-white control in this format, and how do I think this deck is going so far? Not great. Maybe there's a reason I haven't drafted blue-white control yet. I don't think the deck is particularly good so far. Hopefully we can pick up some more power in pack 3. But I think there's some draws where we could have a powerful control start. Protocol's a nice pickup here. Couple of Moonsnare specialists might not be bad. Okay. The Modern Age and Replication Specialist are really what I'm looking at. We do have 9 artifacts, but kind of 6 because this doesn't really count. And the second one of this doesn't really count, so that's kind of 5. We're probably not playing Terrariums. That's maybe 4. Don't think Specialist is necessarily for this deck, so I'm just going to take another Modern Age here. Would not mind wheeling Repel the Vial or Golden Tail Disciple, or even Cyber Trespassers, really. But we're going to take the Modern Age here. And interesting. So there's Goshentai of Shared Purpose, which I think is good enough to stand on its own in this deck and can pump out an army of chump blockers. And there's also Moonsnare Specialist. And I think it's between those 2 cards here. And I think I'm going to land on the Shrine over the Specialist because it's uncommon and we have 6 more picks to find a Specialist, and there's a chance this one could wheel. Because someone's going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a chance, but with that being the only other blue card, likely not. But I'm going to land on the Shrine here. And this is an interesting pick that I think I'm going to choose Spirited Companion over Prodigy's Prototype. I would not mind playing a Prodigy's Prototype by any means in this deck. In fact, I hope this one wheels. But I doubt it will because the last one didn't, but we'll see. There's also Golden Tail Disciple and Specialist I wouldn't mind wheeling. So there's some decent wheels out of this deck. Same with Samurai. I don't think we're playing Conda here. But if this one comes back, maybe we could consider it. But we're definitely just going to take the Spirited Companion here, pick 3. And again, we're really, really hoping for a Containment Construct. That would kind of put this deck into another tier. Maybe a couple more Spirited Companions, even just one more. Brilliant Restoration. 9 and 9? Can we do that? Huh. We need to go like at least 10 white sources, and we do have double Samurai. Probably can't play the Roadside Reliquary if we play the Brilliant Restoration. I do want Specialist and Arrest, but this could be another insane late game card for us. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to take the Restoration here and see if we can make that happen. I think this style of deck doesn't mind playing a Wanderer's Intervention. That can kind of act as a 2-drop to kill their 1 or 2-drop. Puzzle Maker coming back would be great. Searchlight Companion is probably just the pick here. Don't think we're playing any of these other cards. Kitsune Ace could just be a random 2-drop for us, which might just be worth it. I don't know how much we're even using the Searchlight. It is an artifact, though, so I think for that reason I'm going to go ahead and take the Companion. I don't think we need to splash the Black Shrine. There's another counterspell and a Golden Tail Disciple here. I'm probably going to land on Golden Tail Disciple as a 3-drop that can stabilize us, gain some life over a second counterspell. None of these cards matter for us. And Repel the Vile and Golden Tail Disciple and Cyber Trespassers came back. So I think that means I'm going to take the Golden Tail Disciple here. We have a Completion, a Repel the Vile, a Wanderer's Intervention, a Kunai. All that seems fine enough for interaction. Plus like 4 counter spells. So we'll take that one there. So I think this was the pack where we wanted something to come back, but it looks like really nothing did. So we'll put the Terrarium in the sideboard. Prototype did come back. That's great for us. Because we could just wipe the board with Farewell of all creatures. Keep the Prototype around when it's not a creature. Although Specialist came back too. I do think we need Prototype for this deck. So we're going to go ahead and take the Prototype there. Don't think we can play Roadside Reliquary anymore. Definitely don't want 2 terminals. So we'll see how to build this deck in deck building. It'll be an interesting one, that's for sure. Puzzle Maker came back is great. Okay, so we're definitely going to need to do it like this at a very minimum for restoration. But we will see exactly how we want to build this here. So we still need 6 cuts if we're going 17 lands, which I think we do need to do. Take a look at all of our creatures. Reign of Truth is probably still pretty good in this deck. We have 11 artifacts and... No, 11 and 11, which is pretty good. Even if it's not super aggressive for us. There's a Terrarium, which I don't think we need. I don't know how much this Companion's doing other than just acting as an artifact. I do like the rest of our creatures. Maybe we could consider cutting like a Puzzle Maker. Again, it's another artifact though. What do we care about artifact and enchantments? I guess it's... Brilliant Restoration is the reason. and Michiko's Reign of Truth. Those are the two. But Brilliant Restoration is a great reason. Do we need Disruption Protocol as a 4th counterspell? I don't think we do. It doesn't count as an artifact or an enchantment for the deck. Kunai is probably fine. Disruptor is probably fine. Could probably cut an enchantment here. 10 and 9. I do like the rest of our non-creatures is the thing. So I'm probably looking to cut creatures here at this point. I think Guardians is going to be good in this deck and helping us get to Farewell and Brilliant Restoration. Maybe it's just Sky Swimmer Koi? I think when we picked up the Restoration, I think the Koi went down in value. Because this is going to be the way we're winning the game. These 2 cards right here, just getting to these. I want to keep both Samurais to help us find extra planes if we need them. I want to keep all 3 crabs. I'd like to keep this. So it's how many artifacts and enchantments? We're down to 9 and 10. So if we cut this artifact here, we're down to 8 and 10, which is still pretty good. Probably cut our Puzzle Maker and run it back like this. Might even need to go 10-7. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, plus a couple crabs, but we don't need these blue until much later. Terminal's a blue source. Well, if we go 9, we have 1, 2, 3 extra white sources as well if we need them. The Modern Age can help us kind of find an extra white too. I think 9, 8 is probably fine with double Samurai and Terminal here, so I think we can run it back like this and see if we can survive. That's going to be the question. Can we survive? So let's run it back. See how we do. Okay, we are on the play. Reign of Truth does hardly anything in this hand. This is a bit awkward to have in your opening hand. We do have a counter spell and a removal spell. I guess we'll keep it. We have a lot of 2-drops we can find. But this is the kind of hand that this deck can really fold to. I think we're just going to keep this in hand for now. And then probably hope they don't land a 2-drop and then counter basically everything they do after that until we can find our way toward certain things. Generous Visitor is a good one because it's on cast. So even if they cast the enchantment and we counter it, they get a counter. Yep, see here they get the counter, which is not great, but there's not much we can do about that at this moment. They're still getting priority. That makes me think they might have Tamio's Tamio's Safekeeping in hand. Yeah, they almost assuredly have Safekeeping up. We are making our way toward Restoration, and all we need is 2 more lands, and then we can get back both of these crabs that we're going to use. So that is something. As long as we don't die before then. Also, the double Sunblade Samurai works very well with Restoration in hand. Okay, how much do I care about that? Not much, because that can't attack us. So we'll let that resolve, and we can't completion this right now, again, because they have safekeeping up. So we're going to have to take 3 here. Do we just play a random this thing that doesn't do anything right now? What we could do is we could chump with it at some point and then return it. So for that reason, I think I'm going to. It's very sad, but that's what we're going to do here. So this next turn we can counter something ideally. The following turn we'll get a chump blocker that we can then chump and then return everything with. Is that worth countering? Probably so, just as another creature that can attack us. Wait, does it have ward on the stack as well? Spell or an ability. A permanent with ward, is it? Can we not do that? I don't think I've ever run into this rule. Whenever a permanent with ward becomes the target of a spell or an ability an opponent controls, it's not a permanent, though. Because it's on the stack. I don't know exactly how that works. Let's see if a quick Google search answers that for us. Yeah, the Google searches is telling me this should work. Maybe it's just protecting against... Yeah, okay, so that did work. I don't know why it was giving me the "Are you sure?" Yeah. Another land, I guess. So I very much like Tatamio's completion this. The only thing is we know that they have safekeeping in hand, so we can't really do that. Okay, that resolves. Yeah, so they're tapping so that they can keep up safekeeping here. Resolves. And I think we just have to do this next turn so that we don't die. Yeah, I think we're just gonna have to do this. Can't really wait too much on that. So we do have double Modern Age in hand, so if we draw a land at this point, we might, if we draw a land, we can hold up both of these, so there is that. But we'll just have to see how this game progresses here. As long as they have safekeeping and we have 4 mana removal in our hand, that is not a good answer for us. Oh, that's brutal. Safekeeping does protect a permanent, so if we went to exile this, they would protect this with safekeeping as well. So safekeeping is just destroying us here. Sunblade Samurai. I don't know exactly how to play this is the problem, because they're gonna get an 8/8 here, or it's a 7/7. That's probably gonna be an 8/8. Maybe we could put enough pressure on them with the crabs before that happens. This will get indestructible, but that doesn't matter. So let's attack here. Maybe if they try to double block one of them and use the safekeeping to give it indestructible, we could repel that in response. That would be good for us. Nope, okay. I think we'll just play the samurai here. So if they attack with Visitor, do we double block? If we double block, there's a decent chance they use safekeeping. Okay, so they're going to fade and then hold up safekeeping still. Because they're doing it this whole game. It's very difficult to play around. I think if they attack, I will double block here. Because then we can trade safekeeping for Samurai, probably. Okay, they didn't even do it. So I think we attack with Crab again. Yeah. Let's get in like this. We could cast this and hold up one of these two. Okay, so they're just going to chump. We'll play Prototype. And then we'll hold up these here. At this point, we're probably going to have to trade one of these for the safekeeping to do this and then kill it with the other one. But then we're going to have a generous visitor to deal with is the problem. And a flyer. I mean, knowing that they have it can only go so far, because at some point we have to take an action. We can't just do nothing. I think they have a Master's Rebuke with protection. Tamiyo's Completion. Okay. We'll go ahead and crew this because we can. And that all resolves. Yep, keep getting counters here. Okay. Alright, so do we have to trade Repel the Vial for their last completion in hand? Probably, because I think we're going to have to repel this, and then they're going to counter it, and then we'll completion this next turn. I think that's our only plan here. So let's make them use it, because we can't just take this. So go ahead and use that, and then we'll go ahead and completion it next turn. We're going to take 4 here. So there's the safekeeping that we knew they had. Go to damage. My turn. And we have to do this at this point, I think. And then play Puzzle Maker and pass the turn now. Yeah, that's a good one. Quite a good top deck for them. Yeah, they could just attack with both, and then they're pretty set there. If they attack with both, I'm probably chumping with Prototype after crewing with Portrait here, and then trading... Well, no. Probably have to crew with the Crab. Okay, so they didn't attack. Wanderer's Intervention could be good for us. We can't attack or anything, so we're just going to pass. And hope they don't rip another crazy card off the top of their deck. Okay. Season of Renewal, that's brutal. What are they getting? Modern Age, an Arm Guard Familiar, a Prosperous Thief, probably. Okay, 9/9 and 7/7. So we could 6, 7. We could trade Prototype and Intervention for Visitor and then chump the Boseiju with the Puzzle Maker. That's probably what we have to do here. So let's crew this. And then we'll trade it here for 2 for 1 ourselves and then chump here. Have this back as like a 4/4 at that point. Let's go here and here, I guess. But next turn they have a 5/5 and a 9/9, and they're probably getting more things back here with Season of Renewal if I had to guess, because they were looking in their graveyard. Covert Technician, no? Okay. Well, it's something. It's another chump blocker at the very least. And yep, I think we're going to have to keep that. So if we exiled all enchantments, they'd be just left with a Covert Technician and we'd be left with a Crab. That's probably good for us. We'll have to see how they play this here, though. Okay, so do we do anything here? So again, we can do all enchantments. And then we're left with a Crab and they have a Technician. Or can we sandbag it even more to get more cards out of their hand? What I'd hate to do is play this. We have a Crab, they have a Technician, and they drop 2 creatures on us. That would be awful. So for that reason, I think I'm going to pass. Now, if they have removal, obviously that's bad. But we won't be dead. We could do this and then trade, take 2. Because they're probably going to kill the Crab. So I think we can still afford passing for now, and maybe they overextend just a little bit. No, they just drew another land, so they don't really have anything here. So maybe that means now it's good enough to go, because we know they have another land in hand, and we have a crab against a technician with a Goshen tie in hand. Yeah, again, so enchantment, 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 enchantment. There are so many enchantments on this board. But we know they have a land in hand. So because we're going to wipe the board, we're going to get rid of these two. So if they just eat them, that's fine, because we know we're going to get rid of all enchantments here. Probably enchantments and graveyards, actually, because in green they could have a Season of Renewal in their deck. And we don't want them having access to that either. I don't think we have... We've already used our Brilliant Restoration, so we don't really have another use for our graveyard. Oh, that's great. Alright, so enchantments and graveyards. Done. And there we go, and let's see what they draw. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. It's a good top deck, that's for sure. That's not. But we do have double Modern Age, so I'm going to keep it. That's a pretty good draw for them. Ooh, they drew 2 more lands. Yikes. And so did we. Ooh, another one. Jeez. All right. Well, they don't have many left, and neither do we. I think we're going to trade 1 damage for getting rid of one of these here. Or 2 damage, I suppose. Probably should have done that last turn as well. In fact, I think I should have. Yeah, attacked with both, made another one. Not sure if it would have changed the math, and I don't feel like doing the math right now, so... Let's cross our fingers, have to fade a couple more draw steps and get at least a card off the top of our deck. That's not a land here at some point. They've got 11 lands on the battlefield. 12, 13, 14. So they have 3 out of their last 12 cards. So there's an Armgarn Familiar. That's gonna... They can... technically put that on the Covert Technician and attack. But we can chump. That is a card that does things. So we'll put it down. No attacks in the turn here. And then we technically have lethal. So they don't have a land in hand. We know that now. Well, could be. They could just have the reconfigure up. Okay, let's cast this, and if they get priority... Okay, they didn't, so we have lethal here. Awesome, very close, unless they... Yeah, I can't think of anything on attacks that would do this, so I think we got there on the power... On the back of Farewell. Used it right at the right time. Faded a couple draw steps there, but... Good first win. Let's keep going. Okay, we are on the play here. We do have kind of a removal spell and a counter spell, a creature to play. We can get a land here with Samurai, so I think this is a keep. And I think unless we draw like 2 straight lands, we're probably going to be channeling this. Uh-oh. What do they have? Reinforced Ronin. Yeah, yeah. There's another land. So we could Wanderer's Intervention the Ronin here if they do that again. But I think I just want to channel this so that next turn we can play this and it blocks the Ronin well enough. Papercraft Decoy, yeah, that's fine. So let's just channel this. Make sure we can get our... And we are drawing all the lands here, which is okay. Because we do need a lot of them, but... We'll see. There's Restoration. We could trade 2 for 2 here because we're going to go up to 22. They're going to go down, so... But then they can play Ronin. Yeah, no attacks. We're not in a rush here. Hopefully they don't have Kami's Flare for Golden Tail Disciple. Ronin Channel draw a card. Yeah, that's fine too. Tap land of 2 colors that they were not already. So that's an interesting little brew here. I'd very much like to use this. Yeah, here we go. We'll just use this crab because with Restoration in hand, we can get that back here at some point. Same thing with this crab. Now we can comfortably attack. Okay, so we have Restoration mana now. And I don't think we want a Farewell. We would like to crab, though, so we can do Restoration. Well, almost Restoration mana. We have the white mana needed for Restoration, is what I mean. That could be a good one. Another land, okay. Network Disruptor. Yeah, that's fine to play, I think. Opens up an attack here. I don't know if we're going to be able to use this. But there's a chance I might even just use it even if they can pay the 3, so that we can just get it back with Brilliant Restoration, to be honest. They have all 5 colors over there, which is scary. Okay. I guess we'll go Michiko's Reign of Truth then. Get on that aggro plan. Put it here. And then we'll get in with both fine trading network disruptors here, again, because we can just get ours back at some point. Okay. Exile it, then return it to the battlefield. Yeah, they still get to draw the card off of that, so that's a pretty good combo, and we don't get to gain the life, so that was actually a really good use of Planar Incision here. So I guess they get to do that. Okay. Probably going to Wanderer's Intervention the Containment Construct, but I don't know. Depends if they do something pre-combat or post-combat. Again, I'd like to get this into the graveyard for restoration. Terrarium, okay. So I think they know we have a crab in our hand, and they're playing around it here. But again, I might just run it out. This will be interesting. Do I hold up crab, or do I just fire off the Wanderer's Intervention on the construct? I think I'm just going to fire this off here. And the crab's really not going to do anything anymore on this board. Give this here. Now we can channel this to go get a Plains again for Brilliant Restoration and then just return it to the battlefield, which is I think what we're going to do here. So let's do that now so that we can hit the land drop. And then we'll pass. And at this point, I'm going to counter, or at least try to counter, basically anything they attempt to play here. Yeah, so Look, I know this doesn't actually counter it, but what it does is it makes the Brilliant Restoration get, like, everything. So we're going to try this here. And we got to pray to God they don't have a crab in their hand to counter this Brilliant Restoration, because that would be horrible. Okay, cross your fingers. Alright, we did it. We finally did it! We did the Brilliant Restoration and got ourselves like a 5-for-1 there. Now hopefully they don't have Farewell. Yeah, so we kind of expected they had the Kami War in their deck somewhere because of all the colors of mana that they had, but I don't think it'll really matter that much at this point. Yeah, we don't want to use Farewell at this point, so let's just hit with everything, and I think this is lethal. Yep, it is. Awesome. Brilliant Restoration did its thing. Okay, so we are on the play with a pretty good hand here, I think. We'll start with Disruptor. And then Iron Apprentice, okay. So we're probably going to have to channel the Sunblade Samurai here to go find a Plains. Dragon Spark Reactor, okay. So we can either play Guardians or we can play Kunai plus Reign of Truth on this. And then next turn we can play Guardians and then equip Kunai onto that. That makes it be able to attack because it's equipped. So I actually want to do that. Hit them for 4, and next turn we'll hit them for another 4, unless they just want to remove our Disruptor here. Scrounger is fine. Another crab is not bad. We will equip this here, and then hit for 4. And now here's their turn to resolve something. Another Scrounger, that's fine. I mean, Reactor's getting a little high, which I don't like, but funny thing is we can actually... Ah, okay. Yeah, that's fine. We can actually get rid of... We can counter its ability with a crab if we wanted to, which is not the best use of the crab, but it does do something. So we could shoot this, but that's not great. We could attack, but then they could bounce it, so just going to have to pass here. We have all the white needed for Brilliant Restoration, with an artifact and an enchantment already in the yard. Lizard blades. That's unfortunate because we can't counter that, but we can shoot it down if they go for an equip. And even if they don't, we're probably just going to shoot it down. Are they going to shoot down portrait here? So let's kill the lizard blades. Resolve. Drawing all the lands here, which could be worse. Might just have to cast these crabs. They have way too much mana now. We're not going to be able to counter anything, and this thing's going to dome us for like 15 at some point with these Scroungers. I didn't even realize the Scrounger plus this combo is going to be very, very good. Oh, we can actually get use out of it here now. Because they can only pay 2. Cool. Didn't think we were going to get use out of the channel ability there. And Ninja's Kunai, probably to get the portrait, I would think. Alright, so we are all set up to draw. Oh gosh, why did I not just play that crab? How dumb. That was so dumb. I've just had it in my mind the entire time this game. We've been using these to counter stuff. Okay. So they could use this to kill this if we block. So I don't think we're going to block here. They have a ninja? Oh gosh, what does that even do? Whenever it deals combat, exile the top card of each player's library. You may play one of those cards, and you have to pay life otherwise. Yeah, well, we're not doing anything about that. So here you go. Pretty good top deck. Hopefully they don't find brilliant. Oh, good. Thanks, another land. Goodbye. Have to pay life to kill this. So do we want to counter it to save our portrait? I think the answer is no. And another blue here. So the crab did hurt us, but not a ton. We'll hold on to that for all the modern ages that we haven't drawn yet this draft. So this reactor can hit us in the face for 9, so we're going to have to be careful about how much damage we're at. We're effectively at 4 right now because the Iron Apprentice, because of the Kunai plus the reactor. Effectively at 3 as well because of the Scrounger. Yeah, I don't think this is going to go very well. Okay, so they're going to use another crab. That's better for us because now we, like, saves us 9, or, well, nope, because they still get to do the 9 life. So, yeah, here we are. Would very much like to draw Brilliant Restoration. I think we're just going to have to cast this Samurai here. Then pass the turn. We can get 1, 2, 3, 4. We can get all 6 cards back with Restoration. The casual 6 for 1. Can't let Nashi hit us anymore. Although they are kind of a low life total, so... Tamio's completion. Okay, we'll probably have to use that on something. Don't want to attack here, because if we attack, they just block with this and then shoot it down with the kunai, and we don't like that. Probably going to have to completion Nashi, because could get out of hand. I think I'm just going to do this now before combat, because we're effectively at 4 life right now because of the kunai. So that's not good. That's also not good. So we've only got 8 lands left in our deck here, and now we're at 1. Which means we're dead. Because they could just... Yeah, I think we're just dead. Well, better late than never, I suppose, right? Maybe we could just attack with this samurai and see if they want to use a kunai on it. And then if they do, we can get it back anyway. So let's see if they want to try to kill this samurai here. We can trick them into killing it with a ninja's kunai. Prevent some damage to our face. Probably going to kill the twin shot sniper here, I would think. I don't know why I just played that land. That was a bit of a mistake. I thought I was playing around some sort of thing, so... none of this really matters as far as tapping things. We get... I mean, next turn, I guess we win with Network Disruptor. But depends on how much... Oh. Okay, so we don't technically win. So let's put this here. And then end the turn. So we got them to use the ninja's kunai. So we saved some life here. Is it enough? Maybe? I'm not sure. Mukatai Ambusher, okay. Okay, so what are we giving +1/+1 to? Doesn't really matter because they're just going to chump with something. So we could probably give it... If we give it here, re-equip the kunai there, we can attack with all of these. We actually attack with everything, but they don't have to block everything. The kunai... Let's see, they have 3 blockers, we have 5 attackers. Yeah, so... With the kunai, I think we can... well, we have to put this over here. They have 4 blockers. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attackers. So technically still lethal if they have nothing to say about it. Yeah, 5 attackers against their 1, 2, 3, 4 blockers. So they're taking 4 plus... Nope, because the kunai can't deal the damage right now. Okay, well, we probably had it, but there's a chance they had something in hand that could have stopped us. So a little bit of math there at the end, but we got across the finish line. Well, let's cross our fingers we don't get run over before we set up our defenses here. Because we're not doing anything until about turn 4. And we're on the draw. I think we're going to channel on turn 2, most likely. Good thing they haven't done anything. Okay, so they had priority with nothing on the board, which makes me think Tamiyo's safekeeping. Searchlight Companion. So do we want to channel here? Probably so, just to ensure we have our 4th for restoration. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and channel. And then I think if we do Guardians, the next turn we go Terminal plus Reign of Truth. Terminal doesn't do anything this turn. Prototype needs a creature, and next turn we couldn't do Guardian plus Prototype. So I think I'm just going to start with Guardians here. And then next turn we can go Terminal plus Reign of Truth. And again, Reign of Truth in this deck isn't really here to act as like pushing through a ton of damage. Let's hope they don't have a enormous ninjutsu here. With Companion, usually you do. Okay. Nope. And then pass. Interesting. We're drawing all the planes. I think we'll go Terminal plus Michiko's Reign of Truth. As I was saying, it doesn't really act as like, oh my gosh, we're going to push through all of the damage. It's just kind of like, it's a 2-mana 6/6 on delay in this deck is really what it acts as. And then sometimes it can help you push through some damage, but I mean, this is fine. Tails is good for them. Crab is good for us. 1, 2, 3. We'll play Prototype here. And then we can hold up... What do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. We can hold up Crab. And then next turn we can use Restoration to return Crab plus that, I suppose. We could also use Network Terminal to keep dumping artifacts and enchantments into the graveyard to get more for restoration. We have to be careful, though. They are in black, so they could have virus beetles and things. Interesting they gave the counter here. They attack with both of them. I'm definitely crewing and blocking with the Prototype. Because if they kill this one, we can return it. Here comes ninjutsu, maybe? Yes. Okay. Sure. And if they just replay Companion, I'm going to counter it here. They don't do anything. Okay, then. Let's get rid of Puzzle Maker. Again, it's another thing we can return. So we can attack with Prototype here. They left something up. I don't know what it is. But I'm pretty sure we can attack with it. Now there is an argument, because they're in black, to holding back one of these cards to protect against discard. Do they kill this or something? What do they have? Lethal Exploit. Okay, do we counter that? To put the crab in the yard? Or do we just let this go to the yard? Because again, we could still get it back. What do we have? 5 left over, so we can still do Enlightenment plus crab. Yeah, let's loot. See if we can put something in the yard here. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7. So we have Restoration Mana. We could put Enlightenment in the yard, but I think we'd like to cast it. So we'll just discard the land and let this resolve. And then we'll cast Arrow of Enlightenment here. Definitely get rid of that, and we'll keep the crab on top. So they know we have crab in hand. They're playing around it here. Attack all. Okay. Spring Leaf Avenger. Yeah, no thanks. I know this just keeps it in their hand, but again, this puts it in the yard for us, and then we can return it next turn. Ooh. Some digital trees up there on the left. So you have to keep that in their hand, burn their whole turn, and then next turn we'll just return it, and then hit them for like 11 or something. So we could get greedy and hold the crab back again to counter something, but there's no need when you can just do all of this. So let's just do this again. Next to combat, yeah, they'll just scoop to that there. Brilliant Restoration, 4-0. We've done our thing in every single game. On the draw, pretty good hand here. Companion, Reign of Truth, Completion. We got some cards. Okay, no plays on 2. That's exciting. Probably trading here, but they probably won't let us. Lizard Blade Kitsune. Probably need to Sunblade Samurai channel to ensure we hit a land drop. With Restoration in hand, we could chump this to preserve some life here. And the next turn we can Terminal plus Modern Age. Yeah, I think that'll be the plan. We could also just take 4. But I'm willing to preserve some life here. And no plays. That's good news for us. Play the Plains. Followed by Terminal into the Modern Age, I think. And then we could probably dump the Crab here. Again, because Restoration's going to get all this back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Samurai could ensure a 7th land if we need to. Well, no, we can get rid of... So next turn, we're probably just passing with 6 lands. And then we have 2 plus Crab if we want it, or 2 plus Completion if we want it. So that means we want to get rid of Reign of Truth here, which, again, can still come back with Restoration. Just have to hope they don't pump this up and hit us for like 12 or something. 7-tailed Mentor. Okay, so they're going to get another... Going to hit us for 7, so that is something. Probably going to need to Completion the Kitsune here. Get rid of Prototype. And we can still channel this for a land because we'll get it back next turn. So 1... Yeah, I think we need to preserve our life here. So we're just going to do this now while they're tapped out. And then hold up Sunblade Samurai. And then we'll be getting all of our cards back. Yeah, that's a good one. Yep. Would have liked to counter that. Don't like drawing more lands here. So the question is, do we hold up Mirror Shell Crab as a counterspell, or do we just get everything back? And I think we just get everything back here. Don't need any more lands, that is for sure. Web Spinner Cuff. Yeah, that'll protect against Vector Glider here. But we can still give it the chapter of Michiko's Reign of Truth. This can technically attack. So I think I might crew it with the Lifelinker here. We can't do that and cast the Crab. And then we can't do that and also loot. So maybe we could just play the crab and then loot something away. Oh. So do we counter that with the crab now? So we can get 10 damage through? It's a lot of damage. How much is a 5-7 on this board doing for us? I mean, they have a 6-6 and maybe a 7-7 coming, and we can deal with that. So I'm actually just going to make sure we can get through this point of damage while we can. This could matter later. So I guess now we could attack with this again, but they could just bounce it. We do get a pilot though. How much is the pilot worth? Not. I'd rather loot, I think. So do we want to trade this for a Fang of Shigeki? Gosh, it's gonna hold it back for as long as we have it. I don't think we do because we need it to hold back the backside of this thing. Play our lifelinker here and then end the turn. Okay, so we did cast Brilliant Restoration, but we are not necessarily running away with this game by any stretch of the imagination, so gonna have to rely a little bit more on the top of our deck. I think this game would have gone differently if we had just taken 6 here and then countered the branch with a crab and then used restoration. Wanderer's Intervention is something, but I don't know how much it's going to do here. We could attack with Vector Glider and then Wanderer's Intervention down the branch if that's how they want to do it. That would be big game. We 2-for-1 ourselves to do it, but might be worth it. Might also just want to Wanderer's Intervention the Fang at some point here. They could also just bounce it with the cuff. Let's see if they'll let us kill the branch. Maybe I'll give them a little oops. Nope, okay. Try to make them think that I didn't see the branch had reach. Could have also just forecasted Wanderer's Intervention, but at this point, Wanderer's Intervention could have only dealt with that as a flyer until they play one more land. Reconfigure over there. Make it a 3-7. Okay. So they're just protecting their cuff at this point now. Interesting. So what do we repel here? Probably just the Branch of Boseiju. I know their Web Spinner Cuff can keep moving around, but I think this is going to be the bigger problem. Oh no. Tamio safekeeping. Okay. Yep, we knew that from the very beginning and chose to not play around it. And we'll take the crab here. And I guess we can hit with the 10-10, and then if they trade it with Fang, we can Wanderer's Intervention the Fang down. And if they trade it with Branch, I'm probably okay with that. Okay, and then end the turn here. We are decking before them, so we're going to have to find a way to push through this damage. Alright. Goshen Tai is a good draw. That might just be worth playing here before the crab. We can hold up crab too if we need to counter something. I'd like to get this army of 1/1s going. That could be a way to push things through here. 11-11. Yeah, that's probably still worth attacking with, I think. I'd like to see that. In turn, we will start getting these 1/1s. Well, we can't counter that, and that's going to start tapping down Portrait here. Let's just play our crab, add to our Portrait count. Careful cultivation to chump with, very likely. Okay. In the turn, and we will pay, because we can't use the ability with no extra mana here. We have 7, 8, 9, 10 lands so far, so we have 7 more in 13 cards. So that's more than half. Only 6 more non-lands left in the deck to finish this out. At some point, we're just going to have to attack all. I think we have another Modern Age left in the deck somewhere too. We have Farewell, which on this board is actually not that great. Could exile artifacts and get rid of 1, 2, 3, and the Cuff. There's the farewell. Let's go to attackers. They didn't want to tap something down. What if we attacked with everything? They have 4 blockers. So they block, 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 block. Take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Don't think that's worth doing just yet. We have a little bit of time here. Yeah, so if they're chumping, they either also have farewell or brilliant restoration of their own. Because they didn't even use it to tap with Moth Rider Patrol. So I'm wondering if I want to play around Farewell and hold the Puzzle Maker. Not to mention we have our own Farewell in hand, so holding creatures may not be bad for us. So I'm just going to end the turn and hold the Puzzle Maker in hand for that reason. The Wandering Emperor. I can exile our portrait, I guess. Yeah, that's a thing.
Ready to lose.
Okay. Guess that's a reason that they jumped there. So that makes me think that less that they have farewell now that they played the Emperor end of turn. Also, they did that a little out of order. They could have just done this pre-combat or pre-blocking and not actually chumped. But I will not complain that they did it like they did. We have 3 creatures with Vigilance. I think we're probably just attacking all next turn.
Strike fast and strike hard.
Okay. Banishing Slash. So they have all their cards on the table here now. So what happens if we attack all? They eat a Samurai, or they eat a Mirror Shell Crab, and then they have no good blocks on these 2. Yeah, I think we could just attack all. They could eat the Hand of Enlightenment and the Crab. And then like 3 1/1s, and then they would have to take 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and go to 4. We would have all of this left over. Yeah, we have the ability to push some damage here. No, we would have this left over, and they would have their entire board as well. Is that good enough? I'm not sure it is. But we do have Farewell in hand, so there is that. So if things go horribly wrong, we can just reset the board of all creatures, and then we have a prototype left. And we can play the Modern Age and Puzzle Maker. Yeah, I'm willing to just get in there here, see how they want to do this. Now the question is, do they want to eat all the 1/1s or are they going to chump elsewhere? Or double block or something to take something else down? So I'm going to bounce this one. And then trade for a samurai. Oh, double chump of the samurais. Okay, and then the way they're only taking 6. Okay. Sure. So they go to 11. Our board is still fine. We can play the Modern Age, and then next turn we can attack all Farewell, and then the following turn we have an attack with Prototype, and we can replay Puzzle Maker. I mean, we have options here, so... And then I think we'll just go ahead and end the turn. Another web spinner cuff. Hopefully they don't reconfigure one of these, because then they could hide it from Farewell. And I'd like to not have to exile artifacts.
We must protect the people.
Okay. So at this point, I think we can just attack all and then wipe the rest of the board here. 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. We can send 5 things at the Wandering Emperor and the rest at them. That way the Emperor is dead. Or 6 things at the Emperor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then send these 2 at their face. And then they're going to eat one of these. The Emperor will be dead. We can wipe the entire board. And then next turn we have the Modern Age. Plus we have a Crab. Plus we can attack with Prototype. And then we're pretty good here. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things at the Emperor. Make sure she dies and then attack there. I think we're just going to do all creatures here. Okay.
Still have much to learn.
There we go. Now we have a 2/2 that can crew our Prototype for next turn. We can also just play a Crab down. Sweet. And that looks like it did it. I think. Yep. Let's play Kunai. And that should probably do it, I would think. Equip that on the pilot. There we go. Farewell did its duty. We are 5-0 here with a keepable hand. Can offset some of the life loss by cycling Samurai. And then deciding what we want to do here. Reign of Truth onto an empty board. I, too, have done that. We will cycle this for the planes. I think we're just going to play Puzzle Maker here. Next turn we can equip and kill the Reign of Truth if it doesn't get too big. And then when we tap that, we'll be able to get a Scry. Long Reach of Night. We will be discarding an island here. We can target here. And then kill this while we can. That seems okay on this board, to be honest. With this in their deck, they're probably going to have a ton of targets for Repel. So we'll keep that. And I think we're going to go ahead and discard an island again. Reliquary will be good for them in this deck, most likely, as it is already. They do have to miss a land drop to do that, though. Do get another Scry here, which is nice. Spirited Companion, good doggo. You will stay on top of our deck. Befriending the Moths. Suppose we could counter that. I mean, it doesn't do anything this turn. And the next turn, it will do something because it'll put it out of range of Wanderer's Intervention. And we're not really close to being able to cast this. And again, in our deck, putting crabs in the yard is like not a bad thing. Keep a Reckoner Raid. Okay. Let's scry before we draw here. Yeah, I think we have to keep that. Can't really afford putting that on the bottom of our deck. We'll go ahead and draw it. Would not like to have to play against another Long Reach of Night. Because then that would make us... Probably, I'd sacrifice the companion and then we'll see. Okay. Pass to blockers, and I'm just going to go ahead and intervention this while I can. Skyblessed Samurai, okay. Think that's one we're going to go ahead and exile here. And I don't think Network Disruptor is something we want. So we'll go ahead and bottom that one. Arrest on the Puzzle Maker. Okay. An Era of Enlightenment. Double top. Don't like to see that. Okay, so now we have Farewell Mana. But not really anything to use it on this board. We could wipe the entire board, but they have a double top coming, and I'd like to hold back my hand here. Uh-oh. What sort of ninja do they have in their hand? If it's Biting Palm Ninja, I'm going to have to completion that before it hits me, which feels awful. Takuchi Shadow Walker. Yeah, it hit me for 5 here. And then replay Reckoner Raid. So do we use this completion now? The answer, I think, is no. Because we can still chump with Spirited Companion and hold our completion in hand. Samurai, again, don't think we need to play this. So we're going to hold this back to chump and probably do Farewell next turn. And then pass, and then let's see if they play something else. They do. Twisted Embrace. Okay, so I think I'm actually going to cycle this. Guarantee we have Brilliant Restoration mana and puts another enchantment in our yard for Brilliant Restoration. So now I think we have to run it out, because otherwise we're taking way too much damage here. So all, everything except graveyards. And then we have a removal spell for a creature they could play, so that's good. And then Brilliant Restoration. We've had better, but still not bad here. Yeah, I guess I'll play the crab. And we'll hold the island as protection against discard, playing against the black deck. Kyodai. Kyodai for no value. Fine by me. They get to kill the crab, but we get to completion the Kyodai now. Play one of these here. And now we're just at the mercy of the top of our deck. That is not a great draw at this point in the game, but I guess we'll play it here. They played a Michiko's Reign of Truth with no board. So what's to say we can't do that too, huh? 17 cards and Brilliant Restoration's in there somewhere. Let's find it. Guess we're getting rid of the island. And honestly, I don't even think I want to play Disruptor here, because I'd rather discard that if we draw something good. So I'm just going to hold it. Okay. That's not that good. So now we could just play both of these here. It ups our count for portrait. Starts making chump blockers if we need them. So we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 land, 11, 12 lands already. So 5 more in 13 cards. Not bad. Mukotai Soul Ripper. Network Terminal is not bad here. What's a crew on this? 2 and then 1 here. Okay. So I think we can hit them with Portrait. Ooh, excuse me. Uh-oh. Do they have you are already dead? Or are they just preserving some life? Ah, they do have it. Darn. Okay. It's hard to play around that too much. As long as they have the 1/1. But again, that's another thing we can return here, assuming Brilliant Restoration isn't like the last card in our deck. Prodigy's Prototype. Yeah, I guess we can play that. So let's just get in there with everything. And then we'll play the Prototype here. Looks like they got nothing but lands. That was a bit of a mistake. Should have attacked with the Prototype instead. But I think we'll be alright. Sweet! 6-0. Going for our second 7-0 in the format. Can we get there? On the play, Modern Age on turn 2. I think we will keep this hand. And they mulliganed. Do not like Reckoner Raid on 1. So what are we getting rid of here? I kind of want everything. I think we need Terminal, we need Samurai, we'd like the land. Repel the Vials probably going to be good against this deck. Is it just Guardians? I guess it's just Guardians here. It doesn't block the Reckoner Raid well. Reign of Truth. Wanderer's Intervention will be good against Reckoner Raid. I guess at this point we get rid of Repel the Vials. A little expensive for this hand. So I'm just going to go ahead and get down Network Terminal here. Make sure we can have access to as much mana as we can next turn. They might be color screwed. Nope, so it looks like they found it. So we have access to 4 mana. I think we need to make sure we hit our land drop here. So we're going to have to do this. Play that, and then we can play Kunai, and then hold up Wanderer's Intervention. And they didn't do anything on turn 3 or turn 2, so I like to see that. I think we'll go ahead and intervention this. Or at least try to. They might have a crab. But if they want to use their crab on this, I'm cool with that. Ambusher, and we draw crab. Okay, so we probably want to kill the life linker before we play Reign of Truth. Well, we can play Reign of Truth and then we're not going to get the extra points of damage on this, but we want to make sure that we kill that. So let's equip and kill and then play Reign of Truth. We just don't want them really resolving much here. We can also just hold up crab right now and get Reign of Truth next turn. And that seems fine. They're a little choked, I can tell. And I think just waiting is cool. We're not under a ton of pressure here. Okay, so they could have crab of their own, but again, we have our own to counter that if they need to. But we have the mana to pay. They might kill Vector Glider, which wouldn't be good. Disruption Protocol. Can we counter Disruption Protocol? Is that worth it? Yeah, I think it is worth it. Because we have a removal spell for any creature they play. This will flip into a bigger creature. They still have something. It might be Lethal Exploit, but that's not good enough to kill the Vector Glider right now. So what do they have? So if they play something, we can actually completion in response to this trigger to get 1 extra point of damage in. Which might be relevant. Okay, so we'll just draw. Go to the main, give it to that. They might kill it here. No. Six mana, you have to think they have something. No? Alright. 7 mana? What do you have? Shadow Walker. Yeah, may as well. That'll open the door for this to get in a little bit more here. 1 blue mana? Spell Pierce? No, we can pay for Spell Pierce. Is it March of Otherworldly whatever? Can't play the Modern Age this turn, unfortunately, because we have nothing to discard. I mean, we could, but that doesn't seem like a great plan. So we're going to hold it. Nazumi Prowler. Okay. That's what we wanted to see here. So we can get value off the Modern Age. They have another You Are Already Dead? Or no, here's where they have the Lethal Exploit. So yeah, as we thought they had earlier. So they'll at least trade. But we'll still have 2 flyers to their effectively nothing yet. Okay. Draw a card, then discard our planes most likely. get in for 2. And probably just play the crab here at this point. Assassin's Ink. Okay. So they're using up all their resources here, which is okay, and we still have pressure. We have a 2/2 flyer and another, or 2/3 flyer and another one coming. Network Disruptor is a chump blocker. And we're just going to play our crab here. No reason not to. I mean, the only reason not to is to use Farewell to exile all artifacts. And then we have lethal next turn. Okay, Behold the Unspeakable. I see, I see. Get to draw some more cards here. We'll get in with Crab. That did save their lives. And then hold the land and end the turn. Would not like to see a top here. That means they have a way to deal with 2 creatures in hand. 2 bottom. Okay, we like to see that. Can we get across the finish line for a clean 7-0? We can. Another 7-0 in the format. You love to see it. Can't do any better. We've done it with our second control deck, and I think my first blue-white deck in the format. Maybe a second. I think the very first video on the channel was blue-white. But that's how blue-white gets there in this format, is by going control. There's a lot of good control cards, and you know, Farewell plus Brilliant Restoration, that certainly does the trick too. Thanks so much for sticking around to the end of the video. There is a trophy playlist for Neon Dynasty at the end screen if you wouldn't mind sticking around clicking on that, or if you missed yesterday's video, then you can go ahead and click on that one too. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you tomorrow for your daily draft.